Second.
I think Chris already seconded it. He was just being super.
Speak up, sorry.
Okay.
Made up.
How about?
Oh.
We forgot him. Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, Amy, do you have payroll?
I have some changes for
Okay,
payroll.
all right.
We have some new employees, Landy Crendenin, for the court admin, 84th. And then Brenda Bowman, she is the part-time custodian. And then we have two separated employees, Sheila Morrison, she was the part-time custodian, and Larry Magnuson, the sheriff's deputy. And that is all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, the next item on the agenda is to hear our collection report from Purdue, Brandon, Fielders, Collins, and Mott. And we have Brent Sherrod here as well as Bill Pinkham.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner. We appreciate, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for allowing us the opportunity to represent as long as we have. We appreciate it. You're very important to us. And you'll find out how important you are later. Bill's got a couple of things to lay out. We continue to work hard for you. And as always, if I haven't made myself clear, as always, if you have any questions at all about anything that we're doing, about individual accounts, about our method, about what we do, please pick up the phone and give me a call. That's part of my job. So I gotta tell people all the time, the only problem I can't solve is the one that you don't make me aware of. And if you let me know what it is, that's what I do. So besides collecting your delinquent taxes, we also had the opportunity since 2004, June the 16th of 2004, to help you with your fine and fee collections. And so before Bill does his part, Mr. Pinkham, I'm sorry, before he does his part, I'd like to give you some numbers on what we've done in the JP Court by collecting your fines and fees. They are costs that have gone delinquent, that people have gotten a ticket or whatever, that the courts have done everything that they could do. Your JPs, which by the way, work very hard. They have great staff. We have great communications with both courts. That's why I'll be able to tell you, show you the numbers that we got. But both the courts and the JPs, as Judge you're aware of, do everything they possibly can with the people that get these tickets before they're turned over to us. And then at that time, we go to work making phone calls, sending letters, etc., and do whatever we can do to collect that amount. And as I hope everyone in here realizes that all the work that we do costs you nothing. So the old saying that there's no free lunch is not exactly true. Everything, all of our fees are paid for by the offender. And if we don't collect, we don't get paid. And I tell everybody I've gotten used to eating at least 3 times a day, sometimes more than that. And I can if we don't collect, but we're doing all this work and it doesn't cost you gentlemen a dime. So again, we appreciate it. So I'm gonna throw some numbers out here. Bill's got a nice printed report, or he used to, but he's gonna tell you about taxes. I'm gonna tell you about fines and fees. In JP1, since the contract started, total payments have been $288,535.45. Total dismissed, $195,462.14. Total liquidated, $483,997.59. That's a collection percentage of 60.05%. In this business, as you're aware of, the standard in this business is 25% collection. If you collect 25%, that's the standard. So you can tell here in Hutchinson County, we're well above that standard at 60%. And again, it goes toward a lot of the hard work that your JPs and their staff do to help us get these collections. In JP2, the total payments are $615,972.25. Total dismissed, $480,935.40. Total liquidated, $1,096,907.65. The percentage is just a lowly 76.5%.
Maybe 2.
Letters, we've sent over 24,000 letters. We've made over 8,000 calls. In JP1, we've sent over 13, almost 14,000 letters, 13,928, and we've made 6,000 calls. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity to do that. Work for you. And if you have any questions, let me know. And at this point, it's my privilege and honor to introduce the managing partner of the Amarillo office to do his thing, Mr. Bill Hingham.
Thanks, Brent. That was good news too.
That's
The good news.
Those are true figures that we pulled out. And again, thank you so much. All we can do is 60%. That's the lowest 60 up to 71%. So
That's
you're
good.
very welcome. You were part of that.
Yes, that initial process of getting started. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yes. you're
always
exactly
proved to be really
right.
good.
Things were set up correctly.
Yeah, it was great.
You see what the result.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brent, for the kind introduction. That's the way to get a Monday morning started, especially a nice chilly one like this. My name's Bill Bingham. We've all met before, and thanks for having us this morning. I just want to give you a brief update. It's been about a year since we've given a collections report, so I just want to give you an update on where we are from year to year. First of all, Carrie in her office, we really appreciate everything that she does to make our job easier, and I think that'll be reflected in what we're about to show you. For the 2023 tax year, the base tax collection, right at 96% of that was collected before it goes delinquent on July 1st, before it goes over to us. Again, that shows what a great job that Carrie and her staff are doing to get the accounts collected before they get turned over to us. So that's roughly right at 4.1% of your base tax, or $654,000 that Purdue gets to collect on from the 2023 tax year. If we go back the past few years, those numbers in 2019 were $304,000. In 2020, were $312,000. And then in 2021 and 2022, they jumped up to $514,000 and $501,000. And I brought a list of top 10 cases that we're going to talk about for a minute on why those turnover numbers jumped up so much for 21 and 22. So we'll get to that in a second. But for 2019, we got 80% of your base tax reduced. For 2020, 71%. And then again, for reasons I'll explain, for 2021 and 2022, that's 39% and 36% respectively. Now, again, as we discussed last year when we were here, the further back we're able to go, the more time we have had to go through the litigation process to get those accounts collected, which is exactly why those numbers are higher for 2019 and 2020 as opposed to 2021 and 2022. So it's just, as you can imagine, the litigation process can take time, which is why we try to get things collected before we have to file suit. So on July 1st, when those accounts get turned over to us, we start making phone calls, we mail letters out, we run seizure notices to make sure that we'll try to get those accounts paid before we have to file lawsuits. Because it adds cost to it. It adds time to get it taken care of. So we want to get the county and all the entities within the county paid as soon as possible based on our budgets. Those are the prior year's numbers. I have a pie chart that's broken down where your accounts sit. 36% are in litigation right now. That's not a crazy number. If you were in 45 to 50% of your accounts in litigation, then we need to make sure that those are getting work, that we're getting people served. But 36% is kind of a good sweet spot to have your accounts in litigation. The number that I do want to talk to you about is 43% of your base tax is tied up in bankruptcy right now. And that's due to a couple large accounts that are out there. When they go through the bankruptcy process, we have to let it work out through the bankruptcy courts. We file our claim, and then the bankruptcy judge works with the debtor to make sure those taxes get paid according to what they're able to pay, depending on what chapter of bankruptcies are filed. So it really handcuffs us what we're able to do through the litigation process when they file bankruptcy. Again, we'll go over some of those accounts here in a minute. The dollar range, 10% of your accounts are $1,000 to $2,500. So that means that those sweet spot of accounts between $1,000 and $2,500 are getting worked if it's only 10% that are in that dollar range. So that's a good number for your county. And then I want to go over some of the accounts that we talked about on why those numbers are where they are. For tax year 21 and 2022, there's an account that has over $500,000 in taxes owed. Now, a few weeks ago, excuse me, let me back up. That account has been in appraisal district litigation for 2 years now, which means they filed a protest. The protest determined a certain value. They didn't agree with that value. They filed a case in district court to appeal that determination. And our company, along with their lawyers, have come to an agreement on what those values should be literally within the past few weeks. So that $513 amount is going to get reduced according to what they settled it at, and that's going to reduce the base tax that was turned over to us. So for those tax years, 21 and 2022, if we go back, those amounts are going to change on turnover to more accurately reflect what's been turnover in the past in 2019 and 2020. So that's a $500,000 account that can really skew what the numbers look like for 21 and 2022s. There's another account, $54,000, that has been in bankruptcy, and that's why a large portion of your tax roll is in bankruptcy right now. We are ready to file suit. Those have been worked out through the litigation process again within the past couple of weeks. So between those two accounts, roughly almost a little over $600,000 is where those dollars are tied up. So I know that's a lot of information that's kind of thrown at you in a small amount of time. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that the judge or the court may have at this time. I can't make the weather warmer. Other than that, we can try to get you paid as soon as possible. So
One of the things that these numbers show is that we continue to work your accounts. Sometimes the easier accounts that come in are the easier ones to work. We continue to work them because again, if we don't collect, we don't get paid. And so we continue to work hard for you regardless of the age of the accounts as long as we want to. And once again, Carrie, thank you so much for the work that you do, and your staff is outstanding. Anytime we call over, we have a question, or we come by in person, they're very polite, very professional, and that makes our job much easier. So thank you very much.
is there anything we left out here that you'd like to add? Okay.
So only 4% of what Carrie doesn't collect, because she collects 96. I mean, that is awesome. Carrie, you guys are doing awesome.
And she's awesome to work with. She really is. So, and to Brent's point, as you can imagine, those initial prior year taxes that get turned over to us, those are the low hanging fruit. Those are the ones that you get collected. I mean, and that's why it's important to us to keep working the older accounts. And I think the $500,000 account, the bankruptcies, we continue to work those from the prior years. So, are there any other questions that we can answer?
Can you email me that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would like to have it.
Yeah, for sure. So there is one other reason we're here today. And with the tragedy, the disaster, everything that's gone on within Hutchinson County, we treasure our relationship, being able to work for you guys. Coming up here today was the first time I came up the Fritch Highway to see the devastation that was going on was, I don't even know if I have words. For as far as the eye could see, it was nothing but black, and you guys know more than anybody. And Purdue Brandon wants to do our part to be part of the recovery effort. So I have a check for $2,000 from the firm to present to the county for emergency relief fund for as the county sees fit. And I hope this is a reflection of an understanding of what everybody in the county has gone through. And if we can ever be here in any other capacity whatsoever, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Y'all are awesome.
Yes.
We appreciate the work y'all do for us. Thank you. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
y'all. Thanks for coming up too, for the donation. Brent,
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Have a good week, everybody.
All right, thanks, y'all. Y'all be careful on the road.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda was to hear a presentation from Javier, and I don't even really know how to say his last name, Kaltenko, with the Small Business Association. You know, they're the ones that are set up at the Dome for 30 days to do some intakes and offer people the low interest loans or some recovery effort. So maybe he'll make it here in a little bit, and we'll backtrack to him. All right, item 10 is to consider and or approve the Hutchinson County investment policy. And I believe I emailed that out to everyone.
Yep.
And everyone read every single word of it.
Yes, and it has not changed. We just have to re-adopt each year. We have not added any new investment. We're still with taxable. Everything continues to be the same. However, this is just a yearly update, yes.
So there's the policy and 2 resolutions.
Yes.
Or actually 3 resolutions, a resolution to adopt the policy. So do I hear a motion to accept the Hutchinson County investment policy?
I'll make a motion to accept the Hutchinson County investment policy. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 11 is to consider and or approve submitting the renewal questionnaire for property and general liability insurance to TAC.
This is done annually just to renew. It's just a questionnaire that I make sure that y'all were submitting. So that TAC can renew our property insurance.
Yeah, it looks
and liability.
accurate to me. Okay, any questions for Alicia?
We've gotten all the changes for the mobile equipment and Wayne. I think all that is fine.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the renewal questionnaire information?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 12 is to consider and or approve the $1,000 bond for Amber Wells from the Juvenile Probation Department. It's just renewal of her bond. Do I hear a motion?
The $1,000 renewal of bond for Amber Wells, Juvenile Probation Office.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? There you go. All right, item 13 is to consider and or approve the revised FTA contract. This is kind of like a collections type thing, another avenue that the JPs, we don't use this for county court, do we? Like send, do y'all send anything to DPS on our warrants?
No.
Mainly just the traffic stuff.
Yes.
That DPS then has it and so they flag their license so if they have an outstanding warrant, then, and they go in to renew their driver's license, it's flagged, they have to take care of their court obligations before they can renew their license. So this is just updating that interlocal cooperation contract. Do I hear a motion?
I move,
Well, I had a question.
Yes.
So, inclusion of the indigency program, do we know how much that's gonna cost potentially? That's mandated the legislature.
I don't have an answer to that. This program, the FTA program, doesn't cost the county anything to participate in because they turn that information over and then there's fees assessed for every case we turn over. So we only get like, say, $8 and I'm not sure the exact amount, but the fee is passed back kind of like the Purdue fee to the defendant. So we don't pay any.
Just to know if that costs. I meant to look that up before I got here. I forgot to look the bill up, but just sounds like it might pay less. So
It might be a different,
it's not a big.
it used to be $30, but they did drop that down. Legislation did last time. So we get a smaller cut, portion of that. Okay, the court will allocate 6 of each $10 reimbursement fee received for payments to the vendor and $4 for credit to the general fund or the county treasury. So it used to be 30 and then they dropped it down to 10, I guess. Okay,
It's only.
all right. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the revised FTA contract.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 14 is to consider and or approve designation of signer for closing on the ranch market property and to approve payment of the amount required of the buyer on the settlement statement. Okay, so we have a tentative closing today at 4 on the ranch market property. The final, what we'll need to take a check over there to is $199,274.03. But we have an ARP project for that money And the total on that will be 200,129 because that includes the closing costs, correct?
Well, that includes prorated taxes also that
Right.
would be owed at the end of the year for the first quarter of Ranch Market. So
That'll be the total, but the money that we've got to take across today is 199,274. Any questions for Ben?
Will Ben be the designated signer?
No, it'll be me. Yeah. Well, I guess if y'all are okay with that.
I think that's great.
All right, so I need a motion to such that to designate me as the signer and for the final pay or the payment at closing of 199,274.03.
I move to designate Judge Irwin as a signer for the closing on the Ranch Market with the payment today of $199,274.03.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 15 is to consider and or approve resolution authorizing the reappointment of Judge Cindy Irwin to the Panhandle Regional Housing Finance Corporation. Yes, you all saw that information I sent. They appoint all the county judges to be on this committee. We have never met. But which is fine with me, but we're all represented as part of this housing finance corporation. I think we had a meeting actually a couple of weeks ago for the first time, but I was out of town, so I didn't get to make it. But do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to reappoint Judge Cindy Irwin to the Panhandle Regional Housing Finance Corporation.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Here's that resolution on the Ranch Market property tool. All right, item 16 is to consider and or approve the 2024-2025 members of the Hutchinson County Historical Commission. And we have Miss Judy Flanders here today, and she is going to give us an updated report on the Historical Commission. And you all have a list of the updated members there.
Yes, thank you
Yeah.
for allowing me to be here today. I don't think I made it to a meeting last year, and I apologize for that. We lost a couple of really long-time members last year, Holly Kerr and Carol Hopkins. And we've been fortunate that we've had some new interest in the historical commission and the branch of visitors, so we've added them onto this list. I would invite all of you to come to our meetings. We meet every quarter. The next one is April the 3rd, Tuesday at 5:30 at the museum. So we'd love to have you come, and of course we'd love to have you participate in our activities and go on during the year there. Really, it's the historical commission and the Friends of the Museum that comes together. So we've got a art show on June 1st, and we'll have our cowboy poetry in September. We are currently working with the museum in Tampa. There's going to be a area-wide Red River War program event, and we don't have an exact date for that, but it's going to be sometime at the end of September, I think. So we invite you all to come out and see our museum environment, and thank you all for your support of that.
Well, thank you for everything.
Poetry was when?
It's the 3rd, I think it's the 21st
Of April?
of
September. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it'll be.
That's always a really great event.
Yeah, and it'll be at the Dome, and we're gonna have pretty much the same performance that we had last year, which I think everybody really enjoyed. So we hope.
Awesome. Good.
Thank
Thanks
you all.
for the work that you do. We
Thank
appreciate you. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the members for 2024-2025?
Make it. Go ahead, Chris. It's your property.
Make a motion to approve the 24-25 members of the Historical Commission.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 17 is to consider and or approve purchase of Sheriff's Department vehicles. Andy, do you have anything? There wasn't from fleet safety. Okay, so the reason I put this on the agenda is because we did get this Senate Bill 22 money. It's been deposited. So we need to jump on getting these vehicles because we're gonna be really getting on a deadline here to get vehicles. And you did get these two back, right? The Silsby Ford, which is part of the Tips and Holiday Auto Group. And the Silsby, we don't have three, right? I mean, we don't have three quotes. We only have two because we couldn't get one of them back. They didn't ever get back with us. And that was fleet safety. So, Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think you and Andy had a discussion about this. On the Silsby, they have them potentially have those in stock, right?
Yes, the Tips, the one with the Tips, Silsby.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. So the other one, they said they would have to order the vehicle.
The Holiday.
Holiday, and it would push the timeline, the one with, Silsby, it said they had 4 available, very fluid. As far as the availability, so if we were gonna order them, that come pretty quick to make sure we hit that time frame on. And we're gonna have to ship this money back.
We don't want to do that.
Last week I went and talked to Sheriff Kemp and he'd asked me to help him out with trying to work on getting some of these put together because of the time frame. So I went and got these 2 quotes. He was working on fleet safety. Like I said, they haven't received, received anything else from them. I also went to Texas Dodge to look at some of the Durangos this weekend and went to Gene Messer to see what they could do on just an order of a vehicle and then we'll outfit it locally. They said the time frame was 6 to 9 months on those.
We'd really be pushing that.
Push it, honestly, past it.
So this one from Silsby, which is the Tips, they said they had 4 Ford Explorers
Yes, these are the.
at the time that we checked.
I asked for, I've been looking at the 3 different vehicles, the Tahoe, the Durango and the Explorer. Right now, the only thing available on site was the Ford Explorer. The difference between this quote and the other quote, there is a price difference between those, and one of them is, the Tips one is or Silsby is a V6 EcoBoost, and the other one is it's just a V6. So he said there was a little price difference in that.
They're both outfitted by Defender.
Yes, those 2 are both.
The individual prices, the 71,150 versus the 61. And what co-op was the Holiday?
They said there was they're on Tips as well.
They're on Tips.
These 2 are both on Tips, and also Fleet Safety or Dana was on Tips as well. I kind of wanted to keep everything in co-ops. Yeah.
So if we made a decision today based on these 2 that we've got, and we could potentially put a hold on these 4, if they still have them today, doesn't mean that they will, but we could.
What's the time limit to,
Well, we're gonna have to spend this before the end of the year.
The 30th.
Before they,
Yeah, September, the fiscal year, because then we have to reapply for it again within 30 days of the fiscal year.
It's the only one I could get a guarantee on to make sure we hit the time frame was the Silsby.
This one that we've got.
Everybody else was pushing that 6 to 9 month time frame.
We'll have to send the money back if we don't spend it.
and at our conference, there was nobody in the panhandle that really got their money. So once influx, I mean, vehicles. are gonna be
Right,
cheap.
they're gonna be flying out the
I
door.
mean, it's gonna be pushing it.
I mean, it would be my recommendation that we try to get these Ford Explorers, because if they're still on the lot, at least we know they're available to us right now.
I'm okay with that, but Also the jail van, it's probably already past mileage also.
It was getting close. What was it?
It's getting right up
I
there.
believe we're in the 120s.
So, yeah.
It's what?
120.
120,000 miles.
More than that.
So thoughts, discussion? Motion?
I think catch us up. I'm fine with trying to get the ones on the lot.
So that a motion?
I can do it. No other questions or anything.
Yeah, do we have, well, we'll have it, some more discussion, Tom.
Make a motion to go with the Silsby fleet. Quote in the amount of 284,604 for Ford Explorers.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the vehicles? Anything that you needed to add, Andy? Y'all good with that?
So all commissioners courts are meeting right now, so go do it like right now.
Right. Call them. You can step out and call them, Andy. All right, so I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Here, you want to call them?
They're probably gonna want a PO, and so, I can get you.
You can at least say, we've made a decision, hold them.
Soon as we get a PO.
Yeah, they won't get it. All right, item 18 is to consider and or approve waiving fees for lost library books due to the wildfires.
So we
Nancy.
got the list together.
Yes.
As of right now, we've just got 3 that have come forward. And the dollar amount on that was $696.09. So that covers the cost of the book as well as fees and funds that go with it.
Right. You guys got any questions for Nancy? Do you feel like this is a pretty complete list or we might have some additions?
I'm thinking we might have some additions because, immediately people are not. necessarily
Right, thinking, oh my gosh, I had a library
Yeah.
book. Yeah,
So.
it's the last thing that
I
we help.
anticipate more, but hopefully it won't be too terribly
Right.
much, but.
Right.
we just don't know.
Do we have to put that limit or can we give her permission?
That's what I would like the motion to include. If any
Because that's where
additional
you were going with that.
come up, then we could just authorize Nancy to go ahead and waive those fees.
That sounds great. And then I would provide a list to everybody. I will.
I'm just kidding.
On the actual books, is it feasible to do like an insurance claim on those, or is it not high enough to even mess with?
Well, I can break it down, but it's probably, I would venture to say maybe, this is the list price,
Right.
but we have, we get them at a discount. So, maybe a little over $500. So it probably wouldn't be worth it to make a claim.
Okay, any other questions for Nancy or do I hear a motion?
I move to authorize the Nancy, the director of the library, to waive fees. I don't know if I'm saying this right, for those affected by the fires
Second.
And any that may come in the
and
future.
any that may come in.
All right, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thanks, Nancy, for getting that
Thank you.
together.
And Ben, real quick, we got the confirmation email this morning that
I saw your email.
Oh, good, good.
It should be here in a few days, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 19 is to consider and or approve any actions related to the February, March wildfires. Jerry, do you have anything? A couple things. Couple things.
Little update from what I have going on the emergency management side. Right now, we're definitely in a quick transition over to our long-term recovery into this. We have quite a few organizations that are up here still working on the volunteer end of it, still working on properties. That's the amount of work that's been put in these locations is crazy what all being done and getting ready for our, especially for our debris removal portion, which is coming up next week, Tuesday of next week. Monday, TxDOT will be mobilizing all their equipment up here in our different communities, and then Tuesday they'll start working on pretty much driving the streets, picking up all these separated debris, and then we're moving it to a temporary site that's been licensed through TCEQ and Fritch. Even some of the cement stuff will be setting there for it'll set there for about a month, and then to make sure, one of the reasons is to make sure all the debris, once it's accumulated, then it doesn't start to line up again. We actually had one yesterday, a debris pile that was sitting there and decided it was just gonna line up again. So that's one of the reasons why we're trying to tell people we gotta kind of wait, you gotta slow down a little bit on getting this to the landfill, because the last thing we want to do is take this, dump it in the landfill, and light off the landfill. So there's some strategy why you wait to do some of those things. But that's what we have going on, especially first and next week. So we have a lot of moving parts on that piece there. Also, like I said, with volunteer services, things like that, we still got a lot of that operating. We have our Inspiritus group who is still running our wildfire hotline. They're at the Dome. So anybody that has any questions or concerns or whatever, they're kind of like the hub of information. We throw everything to them. If somebody calls in, they can relay that information back to the public. If they had, everywhere from somebody calling and saying, hey, I need help moving some stuff from the back of my property to the front of my property. Call the hotline, and those people will get around to all the different organizations that they have on their list and try to see if they can get somebody out there. But they're doing really good still. Right now they're only getting about 15 to 20 calls per day. It was over 100, now 15 or 20, so it's starting to come down. We have other organizations like SBA, they're set up at the Dome. They'll be there for 30 days is how long they'll sign up for.
And the celebration.
And the celebration, they did do a remote site there at Celebration.
Yes, I forgot about that. Sorry.
We also have the long-term recovery in. We had several meetings last week. I know our finance had meetings with TDM last week to start getting everything in line with our FMAG portion of this. FMAG is the Fire Management Assistance Grant, that's what we're going to apply for to try to get these funds back to the county to supplement some of the stuff that we're having to do in local departments and things like that. So they're working on that, trying to get that grant. We have a timeline on that one, so definitely a priority on what we have to do with the FMAG. On the other long-term recovery end, we have a long-term recovery committee, which is ran with the United Way and PCS and CCS and all these different acronyms, all these different places. They're working on the long-term recovery end of it, trying to get people back to pre-fire status, which is getting them back into some sort of home. Even if it's temporary, moving into a long-term situation. A lot of money coming in through these organizations, or donated funds, and they're working on that right now. Amarillo Area Foundation, United Way, and Red Cross. There's the millions of dollars that are flowing around out there to try to work on that process. So a lot of work ahead of us on long-term recovery. It's probably going to be years. We'll look at the year word and getting that accomplished. Right now, are still looking at what information we've collected on our ISTAT data. Our ISTAT is the survey that TDM has that helps us collect data on number of actual habitable structures that were lost compared to just outbuildings or regular structures. And also it allows us to look at information what people put in on insured and not insured, uninsured. So right now it's actually about a 70-30 on uninsured. It was actually very much higher on the uninsured properties. So at least the information we're getting. A lot higher than I wanted it to be, but those are the long-term recovery folks that these organizations are really gonna focus on. Another thing we're gonna discuss, we need to discuss is the septic tank. Septic issues that we got going on. We do have quite a few people that are calling. I think Dwight had 20 or so on that list.
Yeah.
That people are calling about septics. Usually the first thing that the county looks at is if we're not a TCQ organization, we're our own, you can help me out if you. I'm not very versed on the septic tank thing, but so since we do our own, one thing that we're looking at is or the people are relying on the county for is the inspection end of this and having the county go out, and there's a lot of people that don't know if their tank is good or bad, but we're looking at.
So it could have potentially been damaged due to the fire?
Yeah, so especially if you have a top or a tank that has like the clean outs and the vents from the top. Those are the things that then they don't know if it's still good, if they can still use it. And I don't know either. So having somebody that knows what they're looking at and inspecting those to see if it's gonna have to be replaced.
So do we, Amy, do we just
So.
get Dwight's list and,
Mike has a list already
Uh-huh.
that's going for everyone that needs to have their septic checked. Were y'all able to do that?
So,
this weekend?
so the process is anyone who is curious about it calls me,
Mhm.
put them on a list, and then Jeremy and I discuss, and we're trying to get as many on the list so he doesn't have to keep driving.
Right, so he can do a lot of inspections.
And so we went out Saturday.
Uh-huh.
We have a color code that is, red means replacement, yellow means attention. And the yellow means, not only attention that there's some damage on the leak lines, but also some damage to the tank, but it's still usable.
Mhm.
And if they don't have permitting. And, then green means everything's good.
Oh, okay.
And so, I get this list. Jeremy went Saturday. I haven't heard back from him what he discovered in that first list. But we already have 10 more on the next list. And so what Jeremy will do, kind of the hard part, and Amy and Kim are doing a great job, is we're only in charge of Hutchinson County.
Right.
So
So we got to make sure these are Hutchinson County.
most of these are
In
Carson
Carson.
County. And so what's been really kudos to Amy and Kim is that they're going ahead and calling Region 1 through TCQ to see if there's permitting. What we're finding out is none of Carson County is permitted. And so for Carson County to get permitted is $500. Because
Because they go through
TCQ handles all of
TCQ.
that.
Yeah, it's much.
For us, it's only $225.
Right.
And so ours is a little more, it's cheaper, but it's also, we have a Jeremy Bland who will go and check this out. So right now, any foam poles and septic, they call me and we'll get a system and get them on the system to see if
Okay.
it's good. Now, the reason why we're doing this collection also is A, compliance for nuisance abatement, but B, some of these agencies, like what Jerry was talking about, United Way, Emerald Area Foundation, and some of those are going to include that in their awarding to help get citizens new septics and infrastructure set in the housing.
So there could
supposedly.
potentially be some
Supposedly,
assistance.
yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
And so that's kind of why we are doing that. And I'm keeping Jerry and Jeremy and Kim and Amy in the loop with all the stuff, as well as I'm sending the spreadsheet that we designed to Emerald Area Foundation and United Way, just to let them know where we're at and who came in and requested that.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
So the only other thing I had on it was if I'm not sure how the agreement reads with Jeremy, if the county doing inspections on the septics, this was something that for the citizens, if the county was gonna look at taking care of that inspection, or if this was something that Jeremy could possibly collect, and then if we do have donated dollars that come in, that we can pay that amount
Right.
later. Or it could possibly be a bill for the county in the future, so that's why I let it red flag if y'all want to look at that or discuss.
Well,
Talking
one,
about the permits, like.
no,
For the inspections.
for Jeremy's time.
Especially with the amount of inspections.
Right, and he said that he would donate his time to do that, or. But we told him, go ahead and keep up with his miles and his time. So,
Yeah, I told him, didn't know what the court wanted to do in regards, because this wasn't a budgeted item.
Right.
And so I asked, my elders at the church if by chance we could cover that cost. If the county couldn't, or we needed to do a, and when I told Jeremy just to build a church, he said, oh no, let's work this out. So. He's been a blessing for sure.
Trying to think of everything that could possibly
Yeah.
cost y'all money in the future. So it was one of the things that was on.
Well, Jerry and I Jerry crunched some numbers. We're treating them as complaints. So if Jeremy goes out to a complaint, it's $50 plus mileage, or will be. We still gotta bring those contracts.
Right.
Everybody, but $50 per complaint plus mileage. And so Jerry put some numbers, kind of roughly number, and about 3,000, I think, is what you landed on. And so,
With the list that we currently have.
Yeah,
Right.
That's.
yeah.
There's gonna be more.
yeah, I got bigger problems.
Yeah. So it's already getting.
What's kind of heartbreaking a little bit, has really not with Jerry's report, is people are already putting totes, those water totes in for septic. There's already some illegal activity happening right now. And I don't have the authority, but I did drive up and say, what are y'all doing with that? That's our new septic. I'm like, that's not authorized. And they said, well, who are you? I said, I'm Chris Prock, but.
You finally figured this out,
But anyway, I've had to stop at least two right now that are, and really they're not, they just don't know there's rules.
Right.
It's not that they're trying to break the rules. They really didn't know there's rules. They've been in the country since the 80s and didn't really know that there are some Texas laws that we have to adhere to and environmental codes that we have to follow. And so anyway, that's already happening, and it's probably happening more than what I've seen. I've only seen those two. So there's probably more happening. So if anybody's watching, please contact me and I'll help you with that process.
Okay, great.
Only thing else I had on my list was the removal of the debris, and this happened in the first week or so of May. That debris will be transported to a landfill. And right now, there's still two landfills that are a possibility. One's in Pampa and one's in Canyon.
It has to be a type 1 landfill.
Type 1 landfill for the debris though.
Can't just take it anywhere.
So with these two, the only one issue that we're coming across with Pampa is they do a limit on the amount of debris. They're talking about 20 tons, which could be
A day, right?
like 2 to 3 dump. It's not a lot. I know that Canyon does accept quite a bit more. But Pampa could actually, depending on what we decided, they could actually apply for more.
A waiver.
leniency. But, and I think they would do that depending on the stuff they do. But as far as the cost in it, you're literally, it's about 60 cents different between taking it to Pampa or taking it to Canyon.
It's just quicker to Pampa.
Right. Yeah, it's like
But
46,
would it be quick?
80 cents, 46.20 for Pampa, 47 total.
Would it be any quicker from Bridge? Cause that's where they're gonna be hauling it from. It's like halfway to, might be the same.
I just know the mileage from to the restaurants in Pampa.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So that will be a cost on the county, and this is not a non-reimbursable cost with their mix. So this will be a cost in the county. Do you know if you want to talk?
Oh, sure. Amarillo Area Foundation literally reached out to us and wanted to know, is there anything they could do? And I told them debris removal. We'd like to appeal for some relief for that. And I believe they awarded us 15. No, then I won't say nothing.
No,
But
go ahead.
They were happy.
So we did receive, money, in the bank, 15,000. They did direct deposit for that to provide, cleanup support for wildfire efforts. Then we have another one, but
So looking at the numbers on what that would pay for about 200 tons. What the actual number is gonna be out of this might be what it is that.
It's a start.
It's a start.
Mhm.
So, but that's all I have. Anybody has any questions?
So the ash is not hazardous, or is that why you have to go to that type one?
Well, it is an ash and it's a debris, a carbon debris, so that's why it's gonna go to a type 1
Oh.
landfill. It's not like just normal household trash. So being that it's debris, it has to go to one of the stuff.
And TCEQ at that meeting did tell us that rumor that they're gonna have to scrape 3 to 6 inches of topsoil off and remove it, like
Some
it's unfounded.
bad information.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's not toxic in that sense that they're gonna have to pay a ton of money and get their topsoil removed or anything like that.
I haven't seen that happen anywhere yet.
No, but at the town halls, they've been, at the lawyer.
You hear
town halls,
everything.
They've been saying a couple of that.
Yeah. So at some point, before we get ready we're gonna have to get a contract with either both type ones or,
And then like, we'll just have to set up a account at either one of those, and when they go through with a dump truck, they'll weigh you.
so is it your opinion that we should go ahead and set those accounts up at both, just in case?
Is a text dot looking into that where they want to carry it to?
They said they would go to either, depending on which one we chose, as long as it was a type 1, they didn't care.
So do we pay TxDOT or we pay the?
We're gonna have the account with the landfill. They're just gonna transport it to the landfill for us. They'll pull it in, say Hutchinson County, weigh us in, weigh us out, and then that'll be added to our in total. On what debris.
Do we pay TxDOT anything or they?
No, this is all put in by a STAR request through the state, so everything that TxDOT's providing is state funded.
Okay.
And
Doesn't.
TxDOT even made Pritch's landfill ready for the temporary site. They went in and did some road work and got it all ready.
They've been a great partner to us.
They had to go in and do moving some dirt around, get things situated for the debris, so yeah. Already came in and handled all that for us.
I think once we decide which one we're for sure gonna use.
Then we'll get an account set up with them. Okay. Hannah, did you want to give an update on your,
Good morning, everyone. I brought with me today Curtis Preston. He is the area chief for the Disaster Assessment Recovery Unit within Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. And so he's here today as well to help kind of, answer any questions that y'all may have for us. Over at the animal supply pump, we moved it from the airport over to the 407 Industrial Boulevard. And it's been a much better area over there. We have at this time, I've talked to all the producers in the county and then the other people who are slowly trickling in. Kind of what are y'all getting everything y'all need? Are y'all stocked up? And kind of just to get an idea of how much more they need or how long this is going to last. For the most part, the majority of the answers have been, we're good, we're stocked, anymore, and we're not gonna have a spot to put anything. And so with that, recommendation, I would, just kind of like to get an idea from y'all of what y'all would think of an end date for the supply point would be.
you're still getting donations in?
We have switched from telling people that we need hay and feed, to just T-post, cedar post and wire, and then to donate to the United Way. We've stopped taking hay and feed at this time.
Right.
Because,
Do you think we've met most everybody's need?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
What about rebuilding the fences?
That part, no, I
No.
don't think we've met that need. Now, NRCS and the other program with the state and federally will help cover about 70% of rebuilding perimeter fencing. It's just another 30%, and then inside fencing that will not be covered.
Mhm.
We don't see a lot, I don't see a lot more fence stuff comes in. So we figured out yesterday at the Pampa site, we give a bundle of 200 T-posts and 10 rolls of wire, and that's $2,000.
Mm.
And it's just so expensive to
Mhm.
buy T-posts are over $6 a piece. You know, wires is so expensive, so it's not even a third of what come in 2017, just because of the expense. So, I don't see a lot more of that coming.
So
I'd
is,
say there are programs, for them, you know, that kind of help cover the cost from both NRCS and FSA. So, but there's gonna be people have a hard time recovering if they lost lots and lots of fans, just because of the expense of that.
And a lot of your big producers in our county have lost thousands or just thousands of fencing. It's, I was talking with Casey Bright, who owns Sanford Rancho, Bridge Bridge, and he needs over 40,000 T-posts. And
so is that something that they can make an insurance claim on, or that's not
No,
coverable under, like, if they've insured their?
no, they would have to get onto those programs,
Yeah.
and
Right.
join those FSA and NRCS programs, to help kind of recover some of that. And they probably will.
Right.
There's some of your smaller ranches that didn't have the ability to move some of their cattle off of their property and won't move their cattle off their property. And those are the ones that we've been trying to really kind of help on that, because part of those programs is you have to move the cattle and rebuild, and some just don't have that ability.
Right.
So on the hay end, they're good now. How long are they good until? Because we're facing like 6 months.
Well, that's what, for recovery of the grass, yes, but I don't think you can cover that. That's too long to cover. You know, kind of what I have suggested to all the agents, is asking, how long do you think you need to feed? Is it June 1, June 15, July 1? You know, it doesn't matter. You pick your date and you tell us how much you need. So let's get it to you and get close. So, you know, and one of the reasons we're kind of headed that direction is, of course, is state resources. At some point, we've got to leave.
Sure.
She's got another job.
Right.
to do.
Gotta get back to
You kinda
business
like
at
to
hand.
get back to, so it's transitioning to something where, you know, the donation part is the hardest. But at some point, we can say, okay, we're good. Thank you very much. And you can have road hands, some, you know, take turns, open 3 days a week. Tell the ranchers we're open 8 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, till all the stuff's gone. You know.
So the ranchers in our county, they're choosing their dates and they're saying they're good as of now to the date they're choosing?
Yes, so the date that I've chosen, is June 1st, to basically call it all off. And they're good with that. Their response is basically a lot of your bigger producers and producers, they've already moved their cattle to another pasture or, you know, another spot where they can feed for a longer term. And then they built up hay stocks, along the way. So as far as I know, they're set for a while and up until that point.
So what you're really asking from the court is to just, okay, that kind of end date and.
Yes. As long as y'all are okay with that, I don't want y'all to think that, oh, like we're shipping up and moving out and abandoning anyone, because that's not what our goal is. and not what we want to do.
Do we have enough help to,
So that's another question for y'all is, do y'all want me to continue to run the supply point? And if so, that's fine. It'll just be on a basically appointment basis. Because like he said, I do have
right,
other responsibilities to get back to. Or do y'all want to put county hands over there 3 days a week or whatever y'all would want to do on that?
I don't think there is any county. I mean, they got other jobs too.
Yeah, I don't, is the demand there that we need that many people there throughout the week?
I don't think.
so we
I
could,
think like once you get to that point, you know, if you're telling them you're open 3 days a week,
Well, it's,
one guy.
it's already considerably slower than it was.
Yeah.
Considerably.
so could we just do it on an appointment basis only?
Yes.
I think it'd still be good for you to look after this because you have the contacts
Oh,
and
yes.
you've been talking with everybody involved.
And it's not a burden on the location to go till June.
No, it's, the time limit on the location's fine.
Okay.
Well, that, if that works for you,
And you said totally out June 1st. I mean,
Yes.
I think that sounds good.
sounds like a good target date. But you come back to us if you need some help,
Yes, ma'am.
because that might become overwhelming.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're looking at is a couple more weeks. You know, I've got 1 to 2 guys that's been coming. Is to kind of start transitioning out, when we can get our bunch home.
Right.
Uh,
We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, and just a little background, just because I was an extension agent for 35 years and decided to move over. This is a new department that was formed 4 years ago as a result of Hurricane Harvey. So, you know, we've had agents all across the state come help us up here. And we did the same for that. And through that recovery process, this department was formed. And y'all might know our program director, you might recognize his name, his last name Dozier. So he's local. He's our program director. He kind of dreamed it up during that time. So I worked for him and he's been up several times in helping. But anyway, so we have 27 of us stationed across the state. There's 4 of us. We're basically district administrators like Josh Brooks, but we're called chiefs because we do so much with them and it kind of aligns with them. So I've got from Dalhart to 7 counties down to Waco, all of DFW. There's 4 of us, so we're kind of organized. So I've been kind of overseeing all 4 spots and kind of assisting and helping her. But we kind of went through all of our guys and there's other things like you say to do. You know, when it gets slow, it's just hard to justify state resources.
Right,
Working 2 hours out of the day,
right.
but
Well, we appreciate everything y'all have
you bet y'all have
done for us. Yes, we do.
figured it out. And I don't want to happen what happened to the guy that was in Pampa in 2017. He did it through June, partly because it was right behind his office. And they'd call him and he'd go down the track. He wound up quitting. Just said, I didn't hire on to do this
Right.
forever. So we kind of want to transition her and she's been great. So she may at some point between now and June figure out some kind of help. You know, the volunteer's been great. Her husband's been great. So, and y'all have already, you know, county already goes and does diesel and stuff for all the equipment that's there. And they keep it full. So, the states that we still have a couple of tractors and stuff that can't state contract, but we're going to use them as long as we need them.
Okay, great. Well, thank
We
you.
just kind of see what y'all's policy is and how y'all feel about that.
So-
Making sure y'all are good.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to thank each and every one of y'all for the support throughout all of this. I couldn't have done it without y'all.
Well, we appreciate all your hard work.
Good job.
crazy, lot.
But we don't want you to get burned out.
No.
We want you.
All right, thank you. Thank
One
you.
other thing, we're still working on the CRP to get it opened. I don't know whether we will or not. And it's nearly a little too late, but still, if we could get 190 or 120 days, that'd sure help. I bet I don't have 5 prairie chickens in my county, but we're one of them that says we got it. So it's like, come on. But I've got my preacher's daughter works for Arrington, Representative Arrington, and he's been working close with Jackson. And anyway, I told her, I had a visit with her Friday, and I said, it's a little too long. Let's crank up the heat just a little bit and figure out either tell us or not, so they can move on. And it might help some of the smaller people, that got a couple hundred cows. Help for a little bit anyway.
Every little bit helps.
Yep.
We appreciate it.
Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you all.
Yes, I see that. Thank you. The only other thing that I wanted to mention was that I got an email from Lisa Johnson over at Hemphill County, not concerning y'all. Thanks. And do it. No, I don't think so. And she advised me that the speaker put together a committee to do some hearings on the wildfires. And basically, the chairman of the committee is going to be Ken King. Obviously, he's from Hemphill County, and some other individuals, and just basically to look into the what we do right, what went wrong, what can we do better. So I think I'm hoping that they will put a panel. Supposedly Lisa says they are putting a panel together of the judges. So we have some input into that and can offer some comments. And then I've also talked to Jerry and Jason Whistler over at the city, who are putting together some talking points also of some information we'd like to share. That there was a lot of conversation about getting some aircraft in Texas. And so that's one of the things that will be discussed, I'm sure. So I'll keep y'all updated on that. I think it's supposed to be the 1st of April. So we'll know more then. Okay, anything else on the wildfires? I see that Javier is here. How do you say your last name? Caltenko. And he's with, come on up. He's with the Small Business Association, the one that's located at the Dome and at Celebration. And he's just going to give us a little bit of information about their process.
Good morning. I'm Javier Caltenko, Public Information Officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration, Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. And yes, so we are, the Small Business Administration, we are offering low interest federal disaster loans to businesses of all sizes, most private and nonprofit organizations, homeowners and renters. Therefore, we are servicing the two fires, the Smokehouse Creek Fire and the Windy Goose Fire. And for businesses, we are offering 2 different types of loans. One is for physical damages. So if they have any damages to real estate, machinery, equipment, etc., they can apply for that loan. The limit is $2 million. We also have one for the economic injury disaster loan, which is it's a working capital loan to assist those small businesses to maintain the doors open. We want to make sure that if they're having a hard time paying their electricity, water, rent, anything, they are able to maintain the doors open. And the limit there's $2 million as well, and it could be a combination of the two up to $2 million. So for homeowners, we are offering up to $500,000 to repair or replace their primary residence. They could have a secondary home as long as they're using it as a rental or a business. They can also apply as a business. For homeowners and renters, up to $100,000 to replace any personal property they lost. It could be furniture, appliances, or it could be even a personal vehicle as well. Now, sometimes we also want to make sure that those individuals, right, when they rebuild, we want to make sure they also can mitigate against it. So therefore, we are also providing up to an additional 20% of the verifiable losses to be used towards mitigation. It doesn't have to be necessary for fire. It could be for tornadoes or any other natural disaster. In some cases, some individuals may be able to qualify for relocation. So they may be able to relocate if they live in the city. We want them to relocate within the city. And if they're in an unincorporated area, they can relocate within the county. And another one is the, I'm sorry, I wanted to mention the other one is, I'm sorry, is, yeah, is, but anyway, yeah, okay, the other one is, well, I'm gonna mention it in a second, sorry. Yeah, so the other thing I want to mention is that, so individuals right now, they have up to 30 days, 60 days to decide whether they want to take the loan. So once we do not charge for the application, and they, as I mentioned, they have 60 days to decide whether they want the loan or not. They also can, for the first 12 months, they don't need to pay. They don't need to make a payment for the first 12 months, and it's going to be 0% interest rate for the first 12 months. So therefore, if you don't make any payments, there's no interest accumulated during that time. As I mentioned, these are low interest rates, low interest disaster loans, which is for homeowners is as low as 2.68%. For businesses, it's as low as 4%, and for nonprofit organizations, is 3.25%. We do have deadlines, which is for any physical damages, is going to be May 13th. And for the economic injury disaster loan, it's going to be for December 13th, 2024. As we do have 2 centers open, I'm sure you probably know about this. The first one is at the Dome, and the other one is at the Celebration Family Church. So thank you, Commissioner, for allowing us to be there. And yes, and if you have
And what's your time that you're from when to when? Like 8 to 5 or?
yes, so we're open Monday right now. It's going to be Monday through Saturday. It's 9 to 6 a.m.
Okay.
Yes, until once we change those hours or the days, then we'll send out a notification about that. And the other thing I want to mention is refinancing. So in some cases, I know some individuals may have already a mortgage, and we understand that. And if they qualify, they may be able to refinance their current mortgage with their SBA loan. Therefore, if they're paying 5 or 6% interest rate currently, and they refinance with SBA, they could.
So that would be available to anyone in Hutchinson County?
Yes, that's going to be available.
Regardless of if they were affected by the fire or not?
This is only for those who were affected by the.
Okay, in some way.
Yes.
Okay.
And also the contiguous counties are also, they also qualify.
Okay.
Okay.
So, so they could maybe just have a little structural damage and they could refinance?
Okay, that's gonna be.
Because if it burnt their house down,
They still have mortgages though.
they still have mortgage to pay.
Some
Yeah,
people,
true.
were paying on.
Yeah, it's not like they say, oh, well, you don't have to pay that back.
And they didn't have insurance, which
Yeah.
is weird to me.
I know.
How the bank didn't.
Okay, I'm wrapping my
And
head around
once
that.
they fill out the application, we just want to recommend, make sure that they know about this, and that when they speak to their representative, make sure that they mention it, because otherwise they may not know that they're interested in it. So we want to make sure they mention it to the representative when they're doing the application.
So what kind of response are you having?
Right now, I know we have just about 60 applications that were submitted. we don't have anything approved yet.
Does that include both locations?
It includes all three. We have actually three locations in Hutchinson and one in the other, it's another county. I'm sorry, since I don't handle that one, I don't. Yeah, so we have three locations, so it includes all three. So we do have about 60 applications that were turned in. We do not have any approval because normally it takes about 3 weeks. But it could, we could start seeing approvals anytime soon.
Okay. Great. And did you say there was a charge for the application or is no charge? Okay, all right.
And, yeah.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, I'll be.
Do you have as of now, is there an end date where we're only going to be at the Dome and the Celebration Church until this day?
Right now, we do not have a date. We normally never put a date because we want to make sure that we meet the needs. Once we see that there's nobody coming into the center, then we'll probably start closing it, or at least cut down on the hours.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you for helping our people. We appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Do you have any questions for us or?
No, just anything that we can do for, to provide this information to those who were affected. Please let us know. We are happy to help, work with you and, in any ways.
Okay.
So on the refinance or even the physical property loss, that includes the people that were insured, but they're underinsured and they still owe too? Or does that exclude them?
Okay, so we primarily work more with those who are underinsured and uninsured and underinsured. And there are going to be instances where individuals, if they have insurance, they can still apply with SBA because they're probably going to get the money faster with SBA and they can start the recovery process. So even though they have insurance, we still ask them, to apply because they can start the process faster. And in most cases, it's going to be mostly for those who are underinsured or uninsured.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Okay, the next item on the agenda, do what? That was a lot. Is item 20 to consider and or approve any ARP grant projects. We have 2 projects. The first one is, we'll just talk about the request for the money for the ranch market. So the property purchase, that we agreed on was 200,000, but we need 129,000 total.
Correct.
On that project. Do you have anything else you wanted to add on that?
Not really.
I think we had already discussed when we potentially wanted to put a bid on that of actually taking that out of ARP. If everyone's still good with that.
Yeah, the total out of pocket to us will be 201.29. The closing today is 199, 274.03, but that takes into account the prorated taxes and whatever.
Right.
So, but for ARP purposes, it's 129.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Ben?
101,129.
200, 200,129.
200,000.
Yeah, it's $129.
129.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Questions? All right, do I hear a motion?
I move to $200,129 to come from ARP for purchase of the ranch market.
I was clicking it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. And then the next project is to replace our current generator out here. So the 26th, when the wind kicked up and the fires did too, and the wind was blowing 60 miles an hour, pretty much. Eddie and Ben were out there trying, and we lost electricity in the courthouse. They were out there trying to get the generator started because it
This is
failed us again.
routine,
Yeah.
and we've had nothing but problem with it since I've been there.
And they could barely stand up, let alone try to get the generator started. And we didn't have any power.
We've had mechanics look at it and it's just, it is what it is. And we just need to get a better machine.
We need a reliable,
Yeah.
or as you said, dependable generator.
Depending.
The jail one starts every time.
Huh?
The jail starts every time. So
Yeah,
dependable.
and it's, well, it's
Our
not the
big
same
one's
thing.
not.
It's a different generator.
So total funds requested $70,399.39. Did you get some bids on this? or-
This is co-op quotes.
Okay,
This is co-op, Cummins is through Sourcewell, Caterpillar's through Byboard. But they're both co-op to meet state standards, so
and which one are you recommending?
Cummins,
Cummings?
and it is less than Cat anyway. But they're both good generators.
So you can see,
Then Cat comes with a 1-year service agreement. Cummins, you pick whatever you want, 1 through 5 years, but we'll have them. The 5-year service agreement was $14,608 through Cummins. Don't really know what Cat is. They just included in the purchase, but make it all part of the purchase price. For the let's see, the generator and the service agreement is $66,256. Then to do the whole project, also include the electrical and the natural gas test and all that.
that's where
That's
we
something.
get the $70,399.
That's where we come to $70,399.39.
Okay.
And I'd recommend go with the Cummins. And one thing Alicia brought up was the service contract, but we'll make that part of the purchase contract.
Do we have a service contract now on the
No.
generator?
The one with the actual service, which basically means changing all
We just
service.
was on an on-call basis?
Yeah, it became an on-call because they wasn't showing up.
Right. Okay.
We was having problems with the people that had the contract.
All right, any questions on the generator? ARP.
So this price for this generator will run this whole courthouse?
Mhm.
Cause I need to buy a generator for the church.
Well, we're staying with the 150 kW generator for one simple reason. When this generator out here was put in, it was engineered for 150 kW. And we can't go any bigger than that unless we re-engineer the whole thing. So, we're just doing a replacement for what we got.
Oh, okay.
We're not upgrading to bigger size. We can't.
But that one, when it works, it powers the courthouse.
It was always fine. And that's what it was engineered for when that was done.
Cool.
So we're not gonna go in and re-engineer all the transfer switches and all that. We're just changing on 150 kW for another 150 kW.
Hopefully one that starts when we need it.
Well,
start for the first 5
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, the day the warranty.
Right.
I wanna make sure it starts till I'm gone.
All right, y'all have any questions for Ben, or do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the $70,399.39 for the Cummins generators, including everything needed to do the project.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor? Okay. Thank you, Ben, for working on that. Those are the only 2 ARP projects I have. Item 21, consider and or approve our burn ban or rescind the burn ban.
Currently, our ground index is 147. Last, I put that into effect just because of the fuels and the moisture and what we're dealing with inside. Just not.
I think every county around us got one on, don't they?
Yeah, they're pretty much all just.
Yeah.
Decided to block it down.
Right. All right, no action. Item 22, consider and or approve disposal of obsolete office equipment. I did not have any. 23, accept certificates of completion from elected or appointed officials.
I have one. Blake Kemp Sheriff submitted successful completion of the 2023-2024 tax security awareness training.
Okay. Item 24, consider and or approve request for use of the club rooms at the Borger Library or Fritch.
I just have March 30th for a birthday party.
I got one, but I closed out the tab, so give me a second. May 18th for the birthday party.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept those?
Move to accept the dates as presented for the use of the club rooms, Rich and Board.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, 25, consider and or approve line item changes, transfers and or budget amendments.
So it's just, one budget amendment, we finally got the, insurance proceeds on the sheriff's vehicle that was totaled, and we had discussed whenever that money come in, putting it back into their squad car line item. But since we've received the SB 22 funds, I don't know that that's necessary now, since they're purchasing vehicles with other funds.
Right.
So we may can just, ignore this one. And then that way it's just left in the general fund.
That's what I would say. Are y'all good with that? So we won't do that one.
That one to the side. And the other one is just the request from the contingency line item or the comp time to be paid out for those who worked the fire. Started doing the contingencies on their own so that because it has to come for majority approval.
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to approve that?
I move to approve the line item transfers and budget amendments as presented. Do I need to omit the first one? Omitting the insurance claim.
Okay.
Second.
So we have motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 26, consider and or approve advertising, opening, accepting or awarding bids.
So we still have the county extension
Right, wonder where.
truck. Tara missed putting the ad in the first week that I requested because of all the fire law. So we just kind of pushed it back a week. So it ran in the paper on the 15th and then this past Friday, the 22nd. So we will open the bids on April the 1st.
Okay.
So then they'll be ready for y'all's
at that first meeting.
At that first meeting in April.
Okay. Good.
And as of today, I have not received any bids.
The last time, how many did we have? Did we have 3? Or those were just quotes she got?
Those are just quotes that she got.
Oh, so no one's bid it yet. Okay. And what's the deadline to submit a bid?
April the 1st.
Oh, April 1st is the deadline. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
April 1st is the deadline and then I'll open the bids.
Okay. All right, item 27 is to consider and or approve donations to Hutchinson County. So we have our $2,000 donation from Purdue, Brandon, Fielders, Collins, and Mott. And the $15,000 from the Amarillo Area Foundation.
Then we have another $14,000 for Potter Agricultural Committee. And that was sent just to Hutchinson County Relief Fund and for us to do, they didn't.
There was no specifications, restrictions on how to spend it. And what are we doing with those, Lisa? Are we putting them in?
Yeah, I have set up a fund on our books for the Hutchinson County Relief Fund.
Okay.
So all of that money will be deposited into that fund so that we can track any expenditures now.
Okay. Who do I?
Just
Do I-
know that if it doesn't get all spent by this fiscal year, it will roll over and still be available.
Okay.
for this next
So do we accept each donation individually, or can we say all those?
Presented.
donations Presented.
I think we can.
Yeah.
So I move to accept the donations as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the donations to the wildfire relief. Any further discussion? All, yeah.
So on the relief stuff, are we as a court deciding how to spend those monies, or how is that gonna be?
I would think that we would make decisions on how it's spent.
So for the, kind of the committee
Yeah.
on that? Okay.
So we're not gonna have a regular committee like, it's just gonna be the court and
We
then,
could put a committee together. Y'all think that's necessary?
There's other committees in the past that have been talked about. It was before the VOAD really existed.
Well, no, the Emerald Area Foundation gave us a lot of money and they don't operate that way anymore. They have their own board. So in the past, when they called Judge Blanks and they would say, we have about 400,000, 500,000, and we're collecting more. Could you put together a team? And so she would put together a committee.
Right. I think they had one the last, maybe a
Yeah.
couple fires, a long
We did.
term.
We did a 06 and I was on the board of 06
Mhm.
and on 2014. And we basically were commissioned by the court to oversee Emerald Area Foundation's money. And that's how we did it. And then the court,
But the court had the final decision.
no.
Oh, the committee did.
Yeah, the committee did because it was a connection with the Emerald Area Foundation. It was their money, wasn't tax dollars. Yeah, it wasn't tax dollars.
Okay, right.
But the court did put together now, Matt Chisholm or myself would do a presentation to the court.
Right.
Explaining what we've done or where we were. On the Mother's Day fires, we just focus on septic systems. Ironically, I'm back in that, but that's all we did was put in 36 septic systems. But we use Emerald Area Foundation's money to do that. And we met at the appraisal district was our board meetings. And then Judge Blanks wanted us to report to her,
Yeah,
to the court.
Just to give a report. Yeah.
But when I talked to Emerald Area Foundation, because I kind of thought they'd do the same thing, they said they disperse their own money. So
So it's not,
an agency needs something, they just reach out to them.
oh, okay.
And so there's not really a need for another committee for Emerald Area Foundation. Now, if the,
Well, and this is money that's given actually to Hutchinson County.
Right.
So I think that, because that donation was specified for a specific project, it can only be used for debris removal. So the other two, I think that once something comes along that we need to pay, then we can bring it to the court and say, because we're gonna have to pay for it regardless.
Right.
And then say,
Do you want to use
do you
these funds?
approve to use
Yeah.
these funds?
the VOAB, in 2006, we met with the VOAB, but that was mainly ranch land and Skellytown area. And then 2014 was the Fritch area. And the VOAB was what it is today. It was just more fairly in its infancy back in 2006 and in 2014. And I think now the VOAB in 24 is a little more, well, I don't know if they're a little more structured. I haven't gone to any of their meetings, but they seem a little more cohesive. Because we used to just meet at the Amarillo or at the Red Cross building in Amarillo on 6th Street back in 14. And sometimes the VOAB was, it was a little chaotic as anyone who went, because no one really knew what we were doing. And it wasn't until like the 7th or 8th meeting we had, it was a lot of meetings that we finally, United Way said, well, we'll do the housing. And then we said, well, we'll do the infrastructure. And then another agency said, we'll do the light poles.
Mhm.
And so but it took 8 or 9 meetings just to get a plan. And so it was a lot of walking away, many of us walking away from the VOAB meetings upset. But I feel like this VOAB meeting or these VOAB, or this system is a little more organized, maybe.
Okay.
So what I was gonna say is the VOAD is meeting, they have a committee, like United Way, CCS,
Right.
PCS, Red Cross. I mean, all those organizations that are putting in money that aren't taxpayer money. And they are deciding where to divvy that aspect of it. Because now they've got a pretty good handle on, I mean, that's what I mentioned at the meeting that, I mean, what they decide to do with their money is up to them and whatever arguments and avenues they want to go down, but I just didn't know on our end of like that agricultural money, I don't want to spend it on anything that's not agricultural focused because the USDA and insurance seeing all the small business, all the small ranches as businesses and refusing to give them the help that they need. Just as one person, I want to make sure that agricultural.
I know, it
money
makes
goes to
sense.
agricultural
Yeah,
needs.
that makes sense to me too.
While I'm on the VOAB committee, I kind of forced myself on there Thursday evening. And so I can also speak as let us know what we're doing, what the VOAB's doing, so that there's connection.
Okay. Okay, where were we at? Yeah, so did we have a motion to approve?
Yes, in a second.
Okay, we had a motion and a second, but we didn't take a vote yet. Okay, any further discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? All right. Okay, item 28 is to consider and or approve reports from elected or appointed officials as required by statute.
I have Dwayne Chisholm, Road Superintendent, submitted written report for March 11th, 2024 through March 24th, 2024. That's it.
Item 29, discussion of county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. Well, Gary and I just got back from the county risk management conference. It was excellent. They had some excellent speakers. I don't know, Ben was online. Did you hear Morris Morrison? He was excellent.
He was very good.
He was very entertaining throughout his keynote address. But anyway, he was really good. So I talked to Amy a little bit and encouraged either her or Kim to attend next year because it's really geared towards a lot of HR. There's a lot of safety stuff there too. And then the health and wellness, but there's probably in the room, I would guess most of the people were treasurers, auditors that dealt with the HR stuff.
I did it online last year.
Well,
Online.
no, it's better in person. And then there's tracks, you can attend different tracks, so it was really good. Anyway, so I brought a couple pictures. This was, I'm holding the award that Ben received for the Making a Difference Award, and Gary's got our Safety Excellence Award along with Steve. So they had this backdrop because this was our 50th year of the county risk management. And happy to say that Hutchinson County is a founding member of the risk management. There's 74 of us, I think.
Yeah.
74 counties that were the founding, that got in on the risk management from the very start. So we are one of them. So they recognized us for that. And then there's Gary accepting our safety award. So it was a great conference. It was really, really good. And Gary's got the actual awards. We got a big banner that they gave us, and then he'll show you the awards. I think that's Ben's award. It is super nice.
This is, It's got your name in it. Here's another one.
Yeah.
Here's your pen. I got.
Yeah, it's the pins they were giving away for
You
the
can dig that.
75 year or 50 years, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a really nice
That's,
honor. There were four people that got that Making a Difference
Those are
award.
Cindy's fingerprints.
Yeah, they are.
pretty nice.
You didn't even wear gloves?
I did not. Yeah.
That's,
We didn't drop her or scratch.
Yeah, no, we didn't. So it was really nice. Yeah.
that's really nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then our safety award will go in our trophy cabinet with all the rest of them. So we're super proud of that. But it was a great conference. If anyone has a chance to attend next year, I'd recommend that. Anyone else have anything? Any goings on across the county
Not that right.
besides fire? Which everyone's done a great job pitching in their own way. So we appreciate that. Anything else? All right, I do not have any struck off tax properties or tax deeds. So if there's not anything else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yes, both.
All right, thank you, everybody.